Hallelujah. Beautiful people. Hello, I gotta get my charger. I'll be right back. I forgot my charger. For that, hey, hey, hey. Anita, yes. Anita, I got your message. Tiffany. Hold on, gotta flip the camera around. Okay. Head on a second, get my laptop charging. Happy Saturday. All right, let me catch my breath. Just ran from upstairs. Anita, yes, ma'am. I got it. Did you go back to the Facebook page or even the comment section? No, not comment section, community section. I posted the entire chapter. I'm like, yo, this is some kind of good. Shebra, hey girl, hey, set apart living, grand rising. Hold on, y'all. Hey, James.
Can I get pancakes?
Can you get pancakes?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I'll make it when I'm done. I'll make it when I'm done. Okay. That's my camera over here. Hey, son. Okay. Whose is this?
Nice setup. Love it.
Thank you. It's just a higher stand. Hold on, y'all.
You know, one day my book gonna look just like yours.
Your what?
My book gonna look just like yours.
Your book?
Yeah.
What you mean?
You see that? It just look well studied, you know?
Oh, because I got my notebook
Yeah.
in it.
And all the little tags.
Tags and highlighters.
Yeah.
Oh. My niece said one day my book gonna look just like yours. She talking about big blue. She said it looks well studied with the tags and all the stuff in it. Yeah, wait. Okay, beautiful people. That's L, grand rising, grand rising. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all day off yesterday. If you took a day off, I did. I got so much you need to sleep. What? No, I didn't call them. You were supposed to initiate that, son. Right.
Oh,
You're going, not me.
I was at work. And when I get off, I'm tired.
And you don't want it that
I be wanting to do it on a day off, but there's no days off.
Or maybe you need one. Let's see. I don't think they're open today.
I'm trying to go in there in person. I'll do that on the phone stuff.
Okay. All right, son. All right, beautiful people. All right. Happy Saturday. It is August the 13th, 2022, day 184 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. And of the 4-year consecutive day count, it is day 1202, 1202. And we're picking back up today in the book of the Ark of Bond on page 409. And Father, you are truly the definition of what patience is. All right. That is my opening. That is my prayer of praise. Remember, we're making up a new one when we begin and when we end. It's something new every day. Audrey, shalom, shalom, Levon, blessings. I got to remember to glance my eyes back over here at Facebook every now and again, because since I'm using my iPad on this stand, I noticed in the video, the whole, I think last two videos, that I'm looking off sideways, when before when I was using my phone, it was like right here. So it was like eye level looking right at it. I don't know. I'm not able to do that. The stand is too small to even put it up here, but I'm gonna try not to forget y'all over here. I'm so sorry, Facebook. Okay. All right, y'all, page 409. And if y'all haven't read ahead, y'all definitely should go read, what was it? The book of Ezra, chapter 27, the whole chapter. Anita put me on to it. We ain't got there yet, and I hadn't skipped around that far in there, but there's some good stuff in there. Very, very good stuff. Matter of fact, shoot, let's just read that before we start real quick, because it's just, matter of fact, I ain't gonna say it kind of go with it go with what we were recently reading. Remember how I was telling you to bathe at least once a day? Yo, let me just go to it. Hold on. What is it? XXVII. XX, no, too far. Those are the L's. XX, too far. I didn't put the marker in. Oh, I'm sorry. I remember the page though. Page 606, Elijah. Shalom, shalom. Page 607, y'all. Listen to this. Listen to this. I mean, we do most of this anyway. At least I would hope so. Y'all bathing at least once a day. At least once a day. I mean, but don't let it stop there, please. Especially if you're working. When you get home, put your funky body in the shower. I don't care if you did sit at the desk all day. Go get in the shower. Don't get in your bed with your street clothes. Now, not get in the bed with your street clothes on. Hopefully y'all don't do that. But don't get in your bed with the outside smells on your body. And I hope y'all change y'all sheets a couple times a week. It won't in here, but I'm just saying it's just proper healthcare, etiquette, and sanitation, right? All right. And for the married couples, you probably should be changing yours more than that. I'm just saying, I'm just throw that out there. All right. Even the Holy Bible told us to do that. Okay. Listen, page 606. It's only like 19 verses, but listen to this. Purification is the first law. It's the book of Ezra, chapter 27. If you got Big Blue, the Big Blue Oahspe is on page 606. Listen. Purification is the first law I give unto you, and is the same as with the ancients, in which ye shall not eat the flesh of any creature that breathe the breath of life, nor of fish that live in the water, nor under the water. Ye shall bathe once every day from the crown of the head to the sole of the feet. And before bathing, ye shall say, before thee, O Jehovah, or Mas, I will put away the filth of my body and the evil of my spirit. And after bathing, ye shall say, as I have with water washed clean the outer man, thou, O thou, Jehovah, help me to make clean my spirit. In the morning, when thou wakest, thou shalt say, help me, O Jehovah, to keep my thoughts pure this day, and my soul full of love and tenderness. In the evening before sleeping, thou shalt say, whilst my corporal body sleepeth, O Jehovah, help my less encumbered spirit to see the ways of thy righteous judgment. Without purity, no man can see the Creator. With purity, all men can see him and hear him. I'll read that one again, verse 6. Without purity, no man can see the Creator. With purity, all men can see him and hear him. Listen to this. It is easier to purify the corporal body than the spiritual, for diet and baths can accomplish the former, but pure thoughts are required for the soul. A man may be clean as to the flesh, but if he have impure thoughts, he is impure in spirit. Whoso speaketh cruelly or unjustly of his neighbor is foul in spirit. If he speak of the shortcomings and deceptions of his neighbor, he is foul in spirit. Whereas, first of all, purification is the first law of a man's own self. The second law is, After being purified, to strive constantly to do good unto others. Some of the multitude asked, "What meanest thou by doing good unto others?" Zacchaeus said, "To inspire others unto purity first, and then to attain individuality. It hath been said from time without end that to help the poor, to give to them, to serve them is good works done unto others. But I say unto you, this is but halfway to that which is good. For ye shall not only help them, but ye shall go and teach them how to help themselves. This is doing good unto others." Kind of like that saying that we have, um, give a man a fish, you can feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, and he can eat for a lifetime. Listen, this is so good, y'all. Look.
Can I take one of these chairs?
I'll read that whole verse again. Verse 12. Zacchaeus said, "To inspire others unto purity first, and then to attain to individuality. It hath been said from time without end that to help the poor, to give to them, to serve them, is good works done unto others. But I say unto you, this is but halfway to that which is good." What's that? Yeah. Karen, why you gotta ask me to do that?
I don't know, because they like keep getting brought in.
Oh, yeah, because they keep sitting on it when they eat. I mean, you can leave it out there. I'm sorry. Look. "For ye shall not only help them, but shall go and teach them how to help themselves. This is doing good unto others. It hath been said, whoso saith the ordinance of the priest, repeating a certain number of prayers daily, doeth a good work. But I say unto you, whoso teacheth a man to invent prayers of his own, have done a greater good." And I didn't even know that was in here until, listen, I didn't even know this was in here until yesterday when Anita said, "Sis, have you read this? Go read the whole chapter," right? This is something just by observing what they did in the false kingdom. It was like, you know what? This can't be a bad thing to do for the creator, like literally. Because remember how, if y'all been here a while, right? We just kind of repeated I repeated prayer. I think we started off when we first started, like 2018. We was just doing the Lord's Prayer, repeating that like every day at the beginning. And then I was like, I kind of fell out with the New Testament. At that point, I was like, we ain't doing that Lord's Prayer. And plus, the Pope said they changing the Lord's Prayer. That's how long ago it was, right? Y'all remember that? Pope said we changing the words of the Lord's Prayer. I was like, we ain't doing that. We doing the Aaronic blessing. Right. And so we did the Aaronic blessing. And not that they're bad, not that they're bad things to do, because they are blessings and their prayers of praise. And if that's where you at, then that's where you at. Trina, hey girl, hey. Somebody else came in. Louis, shalom, shalom. Listen, that's where you at, right? And then we move from there to a better rendition of the Aaronic blessing, which it was more intimate. I darn near cried every time I said it, right? Because it was more personal. Then we stopped doing that. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of just repeating these prayers that the priests always said are blessings, how about we just create our own blessings, right? You see how I transitioned over the years? And now it's like, you know what? How about every single day when we begin and we end, we just create a brand new prayer of praise and thanksgiving, right? It's gonna be something different every day on purpose. I didn't even know this was here. Listen. Verse 13, page 607. It hath been said, who saith the ordinances, it hath been said, whoso saith the ordinances of the priest, repeating a certain number of prayers daily, doeth a good work. But I say unto you, whoso teacheth a man to invent prayers of his own, hath done a greater good. To put a man in the way to be his own salvation is, to put a man in the way to be his own salvation, this is the best work. As ye have depended on the priest to pray for you, I come to teach you to pray for yourselves, right? You don't need no other man be praying for you. Learn how to pray for yourself, right? Learn how to be your own salvation. Some people may read that part and it's like, oh no, you're supposed to only be dependent on Jesus. I know ain't none of us here, but somebody may drop in and think we full of shenanigans. But all this can be tested and proven spiritually, your own experience. Listen, because it's like, help us help you. Matter of fact, help me. To put a man in the way to be his own salvation. This is the best good work. As ye have depended on the priest to pray for you, will others, sisters, say a prayer for me, please. Pray my strength in the Lord, right? Having others to pray for you, no, learn how to do this yourself, right? Start taking responsibility for your own life, right? To put a man in the way to be his own salvation, this is the best good work. As ye have depended on the priest to pray for you, I come to teach you to pray for yourselves. The third law is to abnegate one's own self, being willing in heart to sacrifice one's own desires, possessions, and opinions for the sake of peace and the good of the family. This is the most difficult law, right? You got to be unselfish, right? We think of others before we think of ourselves. They say this is the best good law. I'm going to just read it again, verse 15. The third law is to abnegate one's own self, being willing in heart to sacrifice one's own desires, possessions, and opinions for the sake of peace and the good of the family. This is the most difficult law, for the selfishness of man causeth him to say, I have such a love of liberty. Let me be the dictator, and thou do my decrees. Like, I'm too much for this. You do what I say, right? I ain't worried about you. Do what I say, right? They say this is the hardest law for you to get out of your own head, thinking about yourself all the doggone time. All the time. Listen, highlight that. Highlight it. I had to sit and think about my own life. I'm like, yeah, sis, you need a lot of help there. Because sometimes you can be a bit selfish. Matter of fact, you can be a lot selfish, right? Look, this is the most difficult law. For the selfishness of man causeth him to say, I have such a love for liberty. Let me be the dictator, and thou do my decrees. For this evil amongst men, they could dwell together in peace the world over. The fourth law is to love all men, women, and children as brothers and sisters. The fifth law is to return good for evil, to give pleasure to those who give pain. How many people want to do good unto others when they, first of all, they talking about you? And look, not only talking about you to others, they might even be talking about you to your face out in public, so everybody else too. And you can still show them love. And that's something we read over in the New Testament. That's still kind of good. It really is. Think about it. When we learn about how the Creator's ways are to win over those with love, peace, patience, and wisdom, it's hard. The fourth law is to love all men, women, and children as brothers and sisters. The fifth law is to return good for evil, to give pleasure to those that give pain. To practice those things, holding all things in common, is sufficient unto the redemption of the world from darkness, war, and evil, unto peace and light and happiness to all the living. Yeah, yeah, Anita, that's good. Look, they do. It's hard because they're in pain themselves. You know what? I'm sick of that lie. Look, when they go out there and they open that side door, oh my gosh. All right, y'all. So that's it. That was like our little goodie for the day. Keith, hey sis. All right, y'all. So let's go back to our reading for the day. Let's go back to page 409. Chapter 10. Chapter 10 in the book of the Ark of Bond. Trina, did I say hey to you? I think I just said hey to you. Yeah. I think what threw me off, I saw it said you were watching, then what just popped in. That's why, boo. That's why it be throwing me off sometimes. So if I say hey to y'all twice, it's because the thing is popping in and it looks like it's new and Kendra, hey girl, hey. Okay, y'all. Chapter 10, page 409. Jehovah said to Capelia, thou shalt remain with my chosen until they have learned these rites and ceremonies and doctrines, after which thou shalt go to another region whither I will lead thee, and there teach them the same things and in the same way. So remember, the other day we left off on when Capelia was talking to the king, which was his father. wasn't his real father, but it was his father, right? Same kind of story with Moses. He was taken into the king's home, right? He grew up under the king. The king came to love him, not realizing he was a faithist, right? And so he just literally stood before the king and the council saying, listen, isn't it said in your laws that when a king passes away, his laws pass away with him? They said true. He said, well, y'all pretty much still operating on the old king's laws. When new kings take the throne, they're supposed to create their own new rules. You're still living under a dead man's rules. So by default, what you're doing to the faith is out of pocket anyway. So they not wrong. Y'all wrong. The kingdom is wrong. And the king was like, you might have said something there, Capilia. You might have said something. Okay, okay. So with the wisdom he had in just that, using their own law, it was like, okay, all right. So well, all the laws you didn't set under this new rule, since you are the king's son, you have the ability to do this. He said everything that Capilia has said, we can't, we're not gonna overstep it, because apparently he is smarter than all of us here, even me. Right. So they started making new rules, which included that the faithists or God's chosen people. The creator's chosen people. I don't want to get the terms mixed up, but y'all get what I'm saying. The creator's chosen people, they could now, without getting in trouble, being jailed or murdered, they could now have access to education and also land, because they couldn't have land. And they said, we're gonna teach them nothing. Let them live out there in the woods. Let them stay out there. But he said, listen, if everybody in the community is built up, wouldn't it make for a better government, better community, a better state altogether? You got a good point. Go ahead and teach them. Let them. All right, we trust you, Capilia. So that's where we at. Listen, okay. Jehovah said to Capilia, thou shalt remain with my chosen until they have learned these rites and ceremonies and doctrines, after which thou shalt go to another region, which I will lead thee, and there teach the same things, and in the same way. And Capilia obeyed the commandments of the Great Spirit in all these things. In the 5th year of Capilia's preaching, the voice of Jehovah came to him, saying, behold, thy foster father is near death's doors. That's the king, the foster father. Go thou to him and have the law of protection established before his death. And after his death, when thou art king, thou shalt ratify the law and then abnegate the throne. So Capilia returned to Yokorvana, the king, who was ill with fever. The king said, O my son, I feared that I should die ere my eyes beheld thee. A few days more, and it will be over with me. Thou wilt be king. Bethink thee, wouldst thou ask me, while yet I may accomplish it? Capilia said, call thy royal council and pass a law guaranteeing Brahmins, the Zarathustrians, who are also called Faithists, the lands they have possessed and tilled and are now dwelling upon to be theirs forever. The king assented to this, and the law was so enacted, and this was the first law granting land unto the Faithists to be their own by any king in all the world. And the law stipulated that the yeah. And the law stipulated that the faithists should worship in their own way, neither should they be impressed into any army as soldiers of war. After the law was established, Yokorvana said unto Capilia, I was wondering why thou didst not wait till thou wert king, and then enact the law thyself, and it could not be set aside during thy lifetime. I will die soon, and the law will die with me. Like, so he remembering what his own son brought to his own memory, right? Listen. Capilia answered, I shall ratify thy law on the day I ascend the throne, which is binding according to the rules of the ancients. Had I waited until I was king, then I had been bound according to my religion, which is that no one individual possesseth land save that which he tilleth, and then only by donation from the community in which he dwelleth, and only during his lifetime, after which it reverted to the community. Not only is he in ISU and he can sue us in Sargas, but this boy know the law. Boy, listen. Look. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna leave the Christians alone. I'm gonna leave him alone. I was about to say something, but I'm gonna leave him alone. they should do a little more studying of the law. Not just the law. Matter of fact, they most of them refuse to study the law. First of all, they refuse to study the law of the Creator or study even the law of Torah. Right? They refuse to study it because it says done away. Well, we can do as Thou wilt. Just let us do because we got freedom in Jesus or the Hamashiach or Yeshua. Right? Yahusha, Yahawashai, whatever. Right? Well, technically, the ones that say Yahawashai, they will read the law. But the ones that say King Jesus, Yeshua, they ain't quite there yet. So if they won't study that law that's in their own religion, darn well they ain't gonna study the law of the land they live in. Most of them don't. That's how you get in trouble. Find them on the news. And Christians acting all crazy. Well, first of all, I'm like, had y'all even read the law of the land? Like that one lady that worked, she was a court clerk. I never forget it. Sis, she refused to I believe it was notarize. I think it was notarize a marriage certificate for a couple, a male couple, right? But it was part of her job description, right? If she I put out when this came, I pulled it up because I was still kind of not necessarily Christian coming out. I was like in the searching out my Hebrew roots, right? Look, had she read, and first of all, I knew a little bit about it because not only I spent some while I was in the military, I spent some time TAD or temporarily assigned duty in the security division. So I love the law, just all the way around, not just the Torah, but I just love law. Period. My sister, even my son, he said you should have been a lawyer. Now, and I found out about lawyers and all my G, they get used in the most ungodly ways. Sometimes I don't want to find myself there, but I do want to know about it, right? But listen, I had went and I looked it up because I'm also a notary for the state of Virginia. And there are certain things that you can do. There's a whole little small thin pamphlet book that that has the requirements and the different things and all that. But not only that, I read up on her position, what she held, and it specifically stated in there. So she said she was doing it because of her religion or whatever. It would be a violation of her religion. But you also hold an office, right? Not saying that the government should be over your faith or whatever, but they should go hand in hand. Now, had you read the description of your position, they call it a position description, right? Had she had read that before she decided to make this move, she could have asked to be transferred as she's seen the laws kind of change or whatever and allow same-sex marriages or whatever. She could have chosen, because she knew if she would have realized this is a part of the description, you signed on to this, yes, I will comply. She could have chosen to move in a department to another position. She could have decided to resign, find another job that didn't require her, and although it wasn't every day, even maybe once in a while, that didn't require her to do something that violated her faith and would violate her conscience. She decided to say that, just say nope, I ain't gonna do it. And that's why she got fired and was on the news. And then you got all these Christians, oh, she, they doing all this stuff against Jesus chosen. I'm like, no, she she violated something, right? And even according to the laws of Jesus, if you want to say that, according to the laws of the Bible, aren't you supposed to obey the laws of the land? Well, she violated a law of the land, right? In her position description as an employee of the government, she violated that. So not only did she violate that, but she's also in violation of what she professes to believe. I'm like, bruh, y'all miss me some of this stuff, and y'all don't read. Y'all didn't read the Torah. If y'all don't read the Torah, I know y'all don't read the laws of the land. So y'all better get don't get me started. Let me go back. Listen. Verse 6, page 410. After the law was established, Yochanan said unto Capilla, I was wondering why thou didst not wait till thou wert king and then enact the law thyself, and it could not be set aside during thy lifetime. I will die soon, and the law will die with me. Capilla answered, I shall ratify the law on the day I ascend the throne, which is binding according to the rules of the ancients. Had I waited until I was king, then I had been bound according to my religion, which is that no one individual possesseth land save what he tilleth, and then only by donation from the community in which he dwelleth, and only during his lifetime, after which it reverted to the community, right? So this ain't forever, because if we do it this way, then it's going to be taken when they die. We don't want that. We want it in the family forever. We want them to have it forever, not just till they die. Listen, had I waited until I was king, then I had been bound according to my religion, which is that no one individual possesseth land save what he tilleth, and then only by donation from the community in which he dwelleth, and only during his lifetime, after which it reverteth to the community. I did, Tiffany. I just saw your comment. I did, but I said it anyway. Forgive me. She said, "You said you was gonna leave them alone." Talking about, I said I was gonna leave the Christians alone, but that was a perfect time to tell that story. It really was. It really was. You know, the law. She broke the law, not thinking she broke the law. Just depended on King Jesus, and I thought it was perfect. I'm sorry. Verse 8. Yokravana said, "Thou art wise, O my son. What is it that thou understandest not?" After the king rested a while, he said, "Capilia, thou hast often said, thou hast seen the angels of heaven. Who sayest thou they are?" Capilia said, "Persons who once inhabited this earth. Some of them once live on the stars." The king said, "Since thou sayest so, it must be so. I thought sometimes they might be different beings that dwell in the air and never dwelt here. Sayest thou, Capilia, are all souls immortal?" Capilia said, "They are so born into life. Nevertheless, not all inheriting everlasting life. Even as the body goeth into destruction, so can the spirit of a man dissolve out of being." Listen to this, y'all. Get your highlighters. I read verse when I start at 10 again. Nope. Let me just go back to 8. Yokravana said, "Thou art wise, O my son. What is it that thou understandest not?" After the king rested a while, he said, "Capilia, thou hast often said, thou hast seen the angels of heaven. Who sayest thou they are?" Capilia said, "Persons who once inhabited this earth. Some of them once lived on the stars." The king said, "Since thou sayest so, it must be so. I thought sometimes they might be different beings that dwell in the air and never dwelt here. Sayest thou, Capilia, all souls are immortal?" Capilia said, "They are so born into life. Nevertheless, not all inherit everlasting life. Even as the body goeth into destruction, so can the spirit of a man dissolve out of being. The fruit of them that have attained to faith in everlasting life is safe. But for them that have fallen from faith in everlasting life and from faith in the Creator, I pity them and their heirs." The king said, "Why do the oracles tell lies? They are the words of angels." Oracles, prophets, whatever you want to call them today. Why do they tell lies? The king said, "Why do the oracles tell lies? They are the words of angels." Listen, listen. Verse 13. Capilia said, "If a man would not think for himself, examine for himself, the Creator suffereth him to be the recipient of lies," right? So if you don't take responsibility for your own life and start go seeking and searching for yourself, and especially if you holy and churchified and you in the school of the prophets that they set up, bruh, you gonna get one of the disembodied human being family members, not my personal family members per se, but people who, that's all spirits are, once humans who lived here, right? You can get one of them who's floating around in the lowest regions of heaven, which they call Hada, the church called hell, right? Whatever. You can get one of them jokers talking to you, right? That's where you're gonna get your information from. And none of it, and test the information. Here's how you can know if you one of them. Here's how you can know. If the information you're getting doesn't lead to the betterment and life of all parties involved, like to help all parties involved to lift them up higher in faith, looking towards the Creator, your information is off. And the spirit you are listening to is not the Creator. It is not Jehovah. It is not Yah. It is not Yahweh. It is not Jah. Jah. Whatever name you call the Creator, it is not the most holy. That's how you can test all things that you hear from the Spirit. If it doesn't lead to life altogether for all parties involved, and if it doesn't point to Him and Him alone, your information you're getting is off, people. If it leads to self-aggrandizement, hurting somebody, getting back at somebody, let me show you what you did so you can rat sis out. You might want to hold up. Hold on. If I'm here and I'd be like, and I hope you hear my voice at that moment and be like, hold on. And then ask another question. Okay, so like, and you're smart, right? Figure it out. You'll figure it out, because if it ain't leading to the creator and the betterment of all parties involved, you listen to the wrong voice. Stop it. You might want to just go ahead about your business. Plug your ears up with cotton until you learn how to decipher how to hear the voice of the creator. All right, listen. Verse 12, page 411. The king said, why do the oracles tell lies? They are the words of angels. Capelia said, if a man will not think for himself, examine for himself, the creator suffereth him to be the recipient of lies. Just like the book of Kings. First Kings will tell you that they allowed prophets to lie. They allowed the spirit of lying. Well, at that point, we know it wasn't the creator, but one of the ruling gods, one of the ruling false gods, to be lies in the mouths of his prophets, right? Capelia said, if a man will not think for himself, examine for himself, the creator suffereth him to be the recipient of lies. He is a wise man who hath attained to disbelief in angels and men, for then he will turn to the creator who is all truth. And read it again. Capelia said, if a man will not think for himself, examine for himself, the creator suffereth him to be the recipient of lies. He is a wise man who hath attained to disbelief in angels and men, for then he will turn to the creator who is all truth. This is the beginning of wisdom. Some fair men with stunted souls. Oh, stunted souls is cool. We got to put that in the title today. Stunted souls. This is the beginning of wisdom. Some fair men with stunted souls who look not about doing good in the world require the serpent's fang in order to make them think, right? So you might need to hit your head up against the wall. Then you will think. That's why the creator allows it, right? Because it's the best good for you, the path for you. That's what's going to wake you up. Let him hit his wall. Let him get bit by the snake. This is the beginning. Let me just read the whole verse again. Verse 13, page 411 at the bottom. Book of the Ark. 12. I go to 12. The king said, why do the oracles tell lies? They are the words of angels. Capelia said, if a man will not think for himself, examine for himself, the creator suffereth him to be the recipient of lies. He is a wise man who hath attained to disbelief in angels and men, for then he will turn to the creator who is all truth. This is the beginning of wisdom. Some fair men with stunted souls who look not about doing good in the world require the serpent's fang in order to make them think. The king said, I have killed many men in my day. Sayest thou, I have sinned? Capelia said, Inquire thou of thy creator. I am not thy judge, nor any man's. The king asked, if a man be killed and his soul live, then the killing amounteth to little. We put away the body, but the soul may come back and retaliate. Is it not so? Capelia said, yea, O king, and you about to find out. Like he just confessed to killing a bunch of men, bruh. Meaning these souls died in chaos and they waiting for you, king. Oh, my king. Yes, that's true. The body dies, but the soul don't. So what you thought you accomplished in the flesh, you soon to find out that it amounted to little. Listen. I'll read it again. The king said, I have killed many men in my day. Sayest thou, I have sinned? Capelia said, Inquire thou of thy creator. I am not thy judge, nor any man's. The king asked, if a man be killed and his soul live, then the killing amounteth to little. We put away the body, but the soul may come back and retaliate. Is it not so? Capilla said, Yea, O king. The king reflected a while, and then he asked, My son, can the spirits of them we have slain catch us in heaven and injure us? Like king trying to figure this out because, bro, I just told you in about 3 days I'm about to pass to the other side out of my body. I need to be prepared. Prepare me, oh son. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. The king reflected a while, and then he asked, My son, can the spirits of them we have slain catch us in heaven and injure us? Capilla said, Yea, O king. The king said, And they have been in heaven, and they, having been in heaven first, would have the advantage in battle. And if they go in gangs and have a leader, Satan, they might do great hurt. Know thou, Capilla, I have a great secret for thy philosophy, which is when dead draweth near, we begin to shake in the souls as to what we have done all our lives. Sometimes I think of saying to Deus, Here, I will pray thee, but then I remember I have no merchandise which he would accept. How strong we are in health and prosperity, and how weak in adversity and in death. Sayest thou prayers would make my case stand better in heaven? Capilla said, I am not master in heaven, or if I were, my love to thee would shield thee from all darkness. The king said, the priest said, if I pay him money, he can intercede with Deus and so secure me a high seat in heaven. I think he falsified. So the king getting quite smart in his latter days. Listen, I done gave this man so much money. People still do that today in the Catholic Church, people, right? They go confessing to the priest behind this booth. Only the creator knows what they doing in that booth while you confessing to them. They should be confessing to you, priest. I'm here to confess my sin. Listen here, so hold on first. Let me confess to you what I've been doing all my life. No, seriously. It's disgusting when you find out the lives of some of these priests, right? And not just them, some of the pastors too. It's a shame. Listen, verse 16, Capilla said, I am not master in heaven, or if I were, my love to thee would shield thee from all darkness. The king said, the priest said, if I pay him money, he can intercede with Dias and so secure me a seat, a high seat in heaven. I think he falsifieth, for Dias oweth him nothing. Two things I have found, even with my little wisdom. The caterer to the king and the caterer to Deus maketh great pretenses, but do but little as to their promises. These two men, O my son, beware of them. I owe my greatness more to this discretion than to wisdom. They are at the bottom of all the wars and evils in this world. They can deceive even the gods, I am told. When thou art king, Capilla, put thy wisdom in this matter. Spare them not. They are the curse of the world. I remembereth, hold on. I'm sorry. I regret that I slew not more of them. My conscience pricketh me for this. Capilla said, Man's conscience, being only part of the man, may it not err? Is not the conscience dependent for wisdom on other things? After all, if we have done that which seemeth the highest, best thing at the time, have we not fulfilled the law? The king said, It would seem so. Conscience must depend for its errors or justice on the education it have received. Now that is a whole course in itself. Listen to what he just said. Listen. I'm going to start it over. Verse 19, page 412 at the bottom. The king said, It would seem so. Conscience must depend for its errors or its justice on the education it have received. So based on the studying you've done will determine what your conscience tells you, right? And the truths and the errors that you walk in based on what you know. And you can completely walk in ignorance, right? And thinking your conscience is teaching you right. No, my G. You have not put in the right information into your computer system, right? Operator error. Operator error, right? What you put in is what you're going to get out. If you put in the wrong formula for this equation, you're going to get the wrong answer every single time. Every single time. The king said, "It would seem so. Conscience must depend for its errors or its justice on the education it hath received. But may not conscience be disease in the earth?" I'm sorry, I read it wrong. But may not conscience be a disease in the heart, to regret for not having done a thing, to regret for not having done a thing, to regret for having done a thing. These are irreparable complainings. Whoever can say beforehand and yet not err is wise indeed. I find that no man brought himself into the world, nor can he live but for a short period at most. When we were young, we disliked to die, but at my great age, I desire not to live. Evidently, he who created us hath more mastery over us than we have over ourselves. Capelia said, "That is true. Man, at the best, hath not more than half mastery of himself." Yohanna interrupted, saying, "I interrupt thee, my son, because my time is short. I would ask thee, what is the greatest consolation to a dying man?" Capelia said, "There are two consolations that are great to a dying man. One is to know that he left no heirs after him, and the other, that he leaveth after him a noble son." The king said, "Thou art wise, my son. I asked the priest in the oracle house the same thing, and he said, for a dying man to have faith that his soul would enter paradise." That sounds about like the answer the pastor priest gonna give you, right? Like what legacy are you leaving here that shows that you were here, right? And what is it doing for the people who are left here? Are they continuing on in the truth with the legacy you've left that you began while you were here? Otherwise, you might as well dissolve into nothingness. Capelia said, "There are two consolations that are great to a dying man. One is to know that he left no heirs after him, and the other is that he leaveth after him a noble son." The king said, "Thou art wise, my son. I asked the priest in the oracle house the same thing, and he said, for a dying man to have faith that his soul would enter paradise." It's always thinking about yourself. Thereupon I said to him, "No honest man can have such faith, for such a faith would be cheating heaven with one's sins. Were I the creator, I would break the necks of heaven." At least he honest. He said, "If I were creator, I'd break everybody's neck." Listen, look, hold on. That caught me off guard. Look, hold on. Oh, that's definitely got to be in the title. Hold on. Let me underline so I don't forget it. Break the necks. Hold on. What is it? Stunted souls and breaking necks. Hold on. Let me write it down. Make sure I don't forget. Stunted souls and breaking necks. That's cool. Listen. At least he's being honest. Listen, he about to die. Were I the creator, I would break the necks of half the world. Still, it may please a foolish dying man to tell him such a tale as regardeth his soul. Thou alone, my son, have told me the greatest consolation to a dying man. My slaves may have faith that they will be kings, but they will wake up in their folly. A man may have faith that his soul will enter paradise, and he may wake up and find it was a mistake. Faith without a guarantee is folly. Capelia said, "A man to know a thing of his own knowledge hath the greatest of all wisdom." Capelia said, "A man to know a thing of his own knowledge hath the greatest of all wisdom. To be as thou art, a philosopher in time of death, is evidence of a great soul. Few have attained to this." The king said, "Before thee I am nothing as to wisdom. Thou art a mystery to me. Thy mother whom the doctors slew to put her out of her misery from long sickness, was not wise. As to myself, I am only great, not wise. I can make men fear me, but thou knowest the secret of love, which is a great thing. Thy name, O Capelia, will be honored long after mine is forgotten. Yet I am the greatest king in all the world. O thou, my most wonderful son. That's beautiful. It really is. Capelia said, because thou gavest me great learning and a father's kingly care, why should I not be an honor to thee, O king? When thou art in heaven and canst look upon me, I hope thou mayest not lose thy hope for me. The king said, it seemeth not wise to me that angels should see too closely their mortal kin, or else, forsooth, they would never rise up to the higher heavens. First of all, my G, he don't even read the laws of the faith. Neither did he talk to the great creator. How did he come to this realization? Like, this is a law in the book of divinity that he just said, almost literally repeated word for word. Listen what he just said. Y'all remember what it's found at? Look, hold on. For real. If y'all remember where it's at, share it. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday. I forgot exactly where, but in the book of divinity and also somewhere else. And Zarathustra was talking about it as well. Listen, the king said, it seemeth not wise to me that angels, remember, angels are once human beings, right? They've just lost their flesh. They no longer carry their earth suits around, right? The king said, it seemeth not wise to me that angels should see too closely their mortal kin, or else, forsooth, they would never rise up to higher heavens. Hold on, wait a minute. I was listening to it. I know where it is. It's oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Oh man. Um, but yeah, it goes through telling you that those who die, especially if they are already in the faith, or they're walking in the creator's light, right? They're truly walking with Yah, the great creator, worshiping only him. When they pass on, they get to bypass the levels of hada, so to speak, or hell, what the church requires, because their level in faith, if you look at the grades, their grade would be higher than hada, so they wouldn't have to start there, they wouldn't have to go there. They learned enough while they were in their flesh to where they bypass that, right? But they never lose their love for their kinfolk, right? Mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever, right? Big mama, whatever. They never lose their love for them, and they can still see them. And for, I believe it's 3 days, they allow them before their ashars actually hand them off to the Asaph. Ashars are guardian angels. Asaphs are the ones who receive your souls after you pass. The guardian angels are with you from like they're given to you at conception, right? And they're with you all your life. When you pass them here, you pass on to the Asaphs, right? So
Mommy,
they said that.
Mom,
Yes, baby.
you got some cough medicine for us?
Her daddy give it to her. Hey, girl. So for the first 5 years, though, those after those 3 days, yes, girl. Y'all going back through there. So for 3 days after you pass, they allow the soul to, if you want to call it, linger here, but the soul goes around to all the different family members, saying their last goodbyes, all the good stuff, whatever it is they want to do. If they ain't got no family or whatever, but it's 3 days. And even though most of the family members, especially if they're not walking with Yah, and they can't really perceive spiritual things, they won't even know that they're there, right? Some people will see. Most people, hey girl, most people will not, right? But after those 3 days, they're taken up to their grade of resurrection or whatever, and they're learning. Yes, girl. What? The grandbaby's back. Y'all can hear him. Listen. So, but and for that, for the next 5 years, or human earth years, what we consider 5 years, for those next 5 years, they are learning, being restored, whatever, but they're not allowed for the first 5, I think it's first 5 years, to come back, after they pass, because it would be too hard to take them back or pull them away. They would literally cling on to their mortal kindred, right? So that's why for that particular point, it's not allowed. so to speak. I mean, it is. You could come back and then, but you just gonna just kind of descend to Hada, and you're gonna be there until you're rescued or delivered from there. Remember, nobody is in Hada forever. Not just Christianity, whatever they teach you in hell and gonna burn forever. That is not true. You're not there forever. Remember, our Creator, our Father, is good to all. Sometimes you may need a little bit of pain on that butt to get you to look up, to get you to think, right? All right, listen. The king said, "It seemeth not wise to me that angels should see too closely their mortal kin, or else, forsooth, they would never rise up to higher heavens. The seers say, Heaven and angels are about us all the while. I think this is a lie. Otherwise, it would be more hell than heaven to them." The king rested a while. After the king rested a while, he said, "I have been surmising what to say to thee, for I feel the blood in my veins is nearly stopped. And this maketh me think more than ever that man at best is but a gaming ball for the gods to play with. Who knoweth? Perhaps even now they laugh in their sleeves as to how they have used me for some hellish game. Oh, that man hath some standpoint to judge things by." And like he's getting a lot of clarity in his dying days, because ain't that what it talked about with Ashtaroth and Baal? They literally were using humans, not just them, but they just gave us a really good, clear example on how they play on people, right? They can turn countries against countries, right? Both of them, Baal and Ashtaroth, it's a game to them, right? All the false guys, it's a game to them. Their goal is to see how to turn mortals against one another. It's literally a game, right? And they sit back and they laugh. Yes, pawns. Thank you, Shebrew. We're literally pawns to them, right? And then they go rest a while. You know, the people on the war battlefield, they rest a little while, then they back at it. We got some of the war we fighting about, right? You're being carried out to the bloody death. Why? You know why? We talked about it. When you allow that to happen, they get to populate Hada with more souls and chaos. And by default, you fall to their region when you pass away from here, right? You completely fall out of the light of the Creator because you were so bent on, let's just say hell bent on bickering with other people. Even this same game is played in family homes, in your own houses. That same game is played with husbands and wives. It's played with husbands and wives. And if you're wise, when you see you listen, look, you ever listen. When I say this game is played with husbands and wives, this game is played down to the lowest levels, right? You ever been talking to somebody, or say y'all get into an argument or something, and y'all talking so fast or going back and forth so fast with one another, you think you heard them say something that they didn't say, bruh, y'all being played to keep the argument going. And the ultimate goal is to split your home, split your family, right? But the ultimate goal of the Creator is to keep your families together, right? Which is why he teaches us to respond with love, right? Love will extinguish the fire. Somebody says, I don't know who posted this. Somebody posted this yesterday. I saw it. We're down here fighting fire with fire. Oh, you get at me? I'm gonna get back at you. What? I'm ready today. I got time today, right? You fighting fire with fire. But somebody made a comment. I'm gonna see if I can find it. They said, but don't even the fire department extinguish fires with water? Somebody need to be the water, my G, right? And we're called to be the bigger person. We're called to be the water, right? Be the water. Help put the fires out, not adding wood. I'm coming with the wood. We're gonna keep this fire going. Most of us stop being the wood, people. Stop being the wood. Bring some buckets of water. Bring a fire extinguisher, right? Bring a water hose. If you know people at the fire department, if you are a fireman or firewoman, bring the hoses, right? Let's put the fires out. Look, be the water, like my cousin say. Be water. Look, hold on. Be water. That might be in our title today too. Be water. Okay, listen. Let's go back. Let me go back to 26. 26. The king said, It seemeth not wise to me that angels should see too closely their mortal kin, or else, forsooth, they would never rise up to higher heavens. The seers say heaven and angels are about us all the while. I think this is a lie. Otherwise, it would be more hell than heaven to them. After the king rested a while, he said, I have been surmising as to what to say to thee, for I feel my blood in my veins is nearly stopped. And this maketh me think more than ever that man at best is but a gaming ball for the gods to play with. Who knoweth, perhaps, even now they laugh in their sleeves as to how they have used me for some hellish gain. Oh, that man had some standpoint to judge things by. Oh, that he had a measure and a foundation to stand upon. I have searched the spirits of the dead and the gods of the oracles, and they are lies, lies, lies. Capelia said, the small spark of light within our souls is right at the start. And if it be rightly cultivated, it will grow brighter and clearer every day. Highlight that. Highlight all the what he about to say. Look, Capelia said, the small spark of light within our souls is right at the start. And if it be rightly cultivated, it will grow brighter and clearer every day. For is it not in the nature of all things to grow by culture? What a smart man this is. The king said to rightly cultivate. There is the matter, O my son. To settle that point, the world hath been washed over with man's blood, rightly. Who knoweth that word? That mine enemies were, oh, that mine enemies were mistaken, and that I was clear in perceiving what was right. Again, he rested a while, and then he said, I had hope when death came on, I should get a glimpse of what is in store for me. But even death is silent and dark and deceiving. My members weaken evenly. This showeth I was begotten of good blood. Hadst thou not had been my son, I should rejoice more than I do. For then I should know that my family race. Bella, what are you doing? That's from last night. Put it back. Don't do that. And y'all go back upstairs to the loft. Go. I read it again. Again, he rested a while, and then he said, I had hoped when death came on, I should get a glimpse of what is in store for me. But even death is silent and dark and deceiving. My members weaken evenly. This showeth I was begotten of good blood. Hadst thou not been my son, I should rejoice more than I do. For then I should know that my family race had run out, and so I should have ascended to the higher heavens. Now I may be obliged to dwell on earth for a long season. Right? He like, how you know this, my G? You ain't even studied. You know about to be lingering around in hotter for a while. Look, now I may be obliged to dwell on earth for a long season. As I understand myself now, with all thy wisdom and thy love, I had rather thou hadst been some other man's son. Oh, if you knew the truth, Daddy. You are not the Father. Then I could die easier and not care so much about leaving thee. I have no other kin. And of a truth, of a surety, what you have spoken is true, because Capelia ain't really your son, my G, right? I don't know if he gonna tell him this or not before he passed. Listen, Capelia said, O king, thou hast rent my heart in twain. Oh, he told him. He told him. Look, Capelia said, y'all can tell this my first time reading through here. I'm blown away. Capelia said, O king, thou hast rent my heart in twain. Of a truth, I am not thy son. When thy wife laid in the dark chamber, the angels of heaven stole me and brought me thither. She who nursed me was my mother, and her husband was my father. I am a Brahmin of Zarathustrian blood, of Faithist. Oh boy, say it again. Say it again. I worship the Great Spirit. I worship the Creator only. That's what you say when you say I'm a Faithist, right? Some people may not use that word, right? Some people may just call themselves whatever, right? I don't really put a name on myself. I just let you know. So no matter what term you get me misconstrued as, you must needs know that I, Pamela Murphy, worship the Creator only. Only the Great Spirit do I worship, do I bow to, do I owe my allegiance to, and I pour my adoration upon Him. Him only. If you don't like that, kindly end my video. You don't have to come back. So if you ever forget, I think every now and again, I need to say, not to none of y'all, but people who come in from time to time, I need to let them know. I need to let them know, because some people get me really chopped and screwed. Facebook, you hear me? Some people really get me chopped and screwed about who I really am and who I really worship, because we are diligent in reading through all manuscripts we come across to search for the truth. Don't get me chopped and screwed. I worship the Creator only. Let's go back. Verse 31, 4:15. Capilla said, O king, thou hast rent my heart in twain. Of a truth, I am not thy son. When thy wife laid in the dark chamber, the angels of heaven stole me and brought me thither. She who nursed me was my mother, and her husband was my father. I am a Brahmin of Zarathustrian blood, of Faithis. The king said, Is this true? It cannot be. Go call thy nurse. Capilla called in a nurse, and the king said to her, Ere I doom thee to death, I charge thee, is this thy son? And is thy husband his father? She answered him, I am sworn to Jehovah and cannot answer thee. Before sentence me, look, she gave an answer. Before you sentence me, he had to know right then and there. Listen, she answered him, I am sworn to Jehovah, right? Jehovah is another name for the great creator. If you hear the word Ormaz, Ormaz means the greatest light entity, right? We are light entities, but we walk around, we carry these flesh bodies with us. If you peel us off, you'd be able to see out. I mean, not really for real, but if your spiritual eyes are open, you could see that we are sparks of light, right? And we come from the great spirit. We're the smaller spirits. He is the great spirit. We are of him, right? Listen. So Ormaz is another term for the greatest light entity, right? That name is so cold, Key. Look, yes, babe. Okay. Listen. The king said, Is this true? It cannot be. Go call thy nurse. Capilla called in the nurse, and the king said to her, Ere I doom thee to death, I charge thee, is this thy son? And is thy husband his father? She answered him, I am sworn to Jehovah, and cannot answer thee. Therefore, sentence me, for I have carried a great load of many years. Behold, an angel of heaven appeareth. Jehovah's angel appeared before the king, and they all saw the angel, which said, Capilla is not thy son, O king, and yet no sin hath been committed. Thereupon the angel vanished. The king said, Were this not a counterfeit made by the gods? Then it was my angel wife. So Capilla, I'm sorry. The king said, Were this not a counterfeit made by the gods? Then it was my angel wife. So Capilla, must here end our love. The earth is going fast from me now. Capilla said, Our love will never die. For the good thou hast done for the Zarathustrians, the great spirit will provide thee a home suited for thy great soul. If thou hadst any faults, thou hast more than balanced them. The king beckoned for Capilla and the nurse to come. Let me read again. The king beckoned for Capilla and the nurse to come to him, and then he said feebly, It seems to me I hear the gods laughing. Keep ye up the joke. My brother's oldest son knoweth nothing of it. A kingdom is but a farce. Hold me up. You just want to make noise, Isaiah. Listen, read it again. I'm sorry, y'all. The king beckoned for Capilla and the nurse to come to him, and then he said feebly, It seems to me I hear the gods laughing. Keep ye up the joke. My brother's oldest son knoweth nothing of it. A kingdom is but a farce. Hold me up, Capelia. I will have mine eyes feast on the sky only, after having seen thy sweet face. Capelia lifted him up, and the king said to the nurse, I bless thee. Thou borest forth a good prop. O Aden, sky, Aden. All is something, all is nothing. And the breath went out of him. He was dead. Would y'all believe it took us that long to read this first chapter? What's this? This is a long chapter.
Mommy.
Chapter 10. That was so good. Now, where we at? We over an hour?
Mommy,
Yes, babe.
let's be going to Disney World.
Why did you pour that whole thing? Look at my pistachios. Y'all, that's what y'all heard in the background, all that on the table. Opened up a bag of pistachios and filled up a whole plate with them. You better eat all of them and share them with your brethren and your niece. Pick these up on the floor and throw them away. All right. We'll read one more time. It's Saturday, y'all. We got time. All right, let's go. Let's go. Chapter 11. Chapter 11.
Mom, let's be go to Disney World.
In 3 weeks, babe.
Stop saying that on camera, Bella.
She can say it. You ain't got to hide it. Huh, put this on your lips, though. She said, Mom, when are we going to Disney World? Huh. All right, chapter 11. Page 414. Chapter 11. Jehovah said to Capelia, my chosen shall not have kings. I, Jehovah, am king. As through Zarathustra I gave rabbis and chief rabbis, so have I through thee, and their families are my families. Kings and kingdoms of men I give to the unrighteous, for they perceiving me not. Hold on, let me read that again. Kings and kingdoms of men I give to the unrighteous, for they perceiving me not. For I am the higher law, shall have that can perceive, which is the lower law. A kingdom is thrust upon thee. What wilt thou? Capelia said, what shall I do, O Jehovah? Jehovah answered, saying, suffer thyself to be proclaimed at home and in the provinces, after which thou shalt ratify the laws, and then abdicate, and the kingdom shall fall into other hands. Capelia was proclaimed, and thence after known as King Capelia, and he abdicated, and then Heliopesus. And then Heliopesus became king, and then he became obliged to Capelia, so that the latter, though not a king, stood as a protector over the faithless, even greater than Heliopesus. Nor could any laws be enacted affecting the faithless without the consent of Capelia. Jehovah has said, my people shall be a separate people. They shall live under my laws, for I am their king. Now the whole time from Capelia's first beginning of the restoration of the Zarathustrians or Faithists until establishing a protectorate for them was 5 years. After this, Capelia traveled about east and west and north and south, collecting together the scattered remnants of his people, and he established them in colonies and taught them not only rites and ceremonies, but taught the lost arts of tilling the soil and of making fabrics out of hemp and wool and silk. And he established schools and provided teachers for the people. Capelia said, the first virtue is to learn to find Jehovah in all things and to love and glorify him. Highlighted. Just in case you didn't know. I mean, I know y'all know. But just in case you didn't. Right? Who can argue against that? Who can argue against that? The first best thing is to find the creator and learn to love him only with all your being. Right? That's not unfamiliar to us, especially if we come from Christianity and transferring to the Hebrew roots, right? That's nothing unfamiliar to us. Capelia said, the first virtue is to learn to find Jehovah in all things and to love and glorify him. The second virtue is cleanliness. All people, old and young, shall bathe once a day. Remember, I added on to that. If you stink throughout the day, you come home from work, bathe your body, please, right? Go cut the grass or something, bathe your body. You ain't do nothing all day. I mean, you might be good as long as you bathed in the morning, or you may choose to bathe before you. I don't care. Just at least touch water once a day. If you're working, that should be a requirement to be too. But I'm just saying, he said at least once, right? And wash your hair too. Wash your hair. Listen, the second virtue is cleanliness. All people, old and young, shall bathe once a day. The third virtue, listen, y'all, here it goes again. The third virtue is to eat. Hey, chill. The third virtue is to eat no fish, nor flesh, nor any other unclean thing. For of what profit is it to bathe the outer body if one puts filth within? It called flesh, meat, filth. You're defiling your body if you eat meat, fish, or beast, right? The fish that live in the water and outside the water, birds, everything. It called out all of them, right? We know that to be true. We ain't got to argue with that. We can clearly test that. You go to the hospitals and see multiple people have been violating this, right? They ain't got to tell you. Tell me what's wrong with them, because 99% of the diseases come from what you put here, right in here. And who controls that? You. Hand to mouth. Everything you put in here goes down the chakra line, and it defiles every one of your lights and puts your light out early, people. Look, that's right. No animal sandwiches. Honor humility. Shalom, brother Malachi Maccabee. Look. Verse 9, page 415. The third virtue is to eat no fish, nor flesh, nor other unclean thing. For of what profit is it to bathe the outer part if one putteth filth within? The fourth virtue is industry, because the Father gave man neither feathers, nor hair, nor wool. Let it be testimony of his commandment that man shall clothe himself, to clothe one's self, and to provide one's self with food. These are the enforced industry upon all people. Kind of like what we hear in the Bible: if man don't work, he don't eat, right? Right? When you first come into the world, some of these things are provided for you. And when you become of age, you can take responsibility for your life, clothe yourself, work to eat, right? That's your first industry. Find something you can be industrious in. Put yourself to work for others so you can, The fourth virtue is industry, because the Father gave man neither feathers, nor hair, nor wool. Let it be testimony of his commandment that man shall clothe himself, to clothe oneself, and to provide one's self with food. These are the enforced industry upon all people. In addition to these, to labor for the helpless, to bathe them and feed them and house them and clothe them. These are the volunteer industries permitted by the Father, that ye may prove your soul's worthiness before him. Without industry, no people can be virtuous, right? Because you would be selfish through and through, only thinking about you. And even you, if you have children, or shucks, even if you're the oldest sibling, or you've had any kind of siblings older than you, and sometimes you may be the youngest, taking care of the older, you get this training real early, right? Looking out for others other than yourself, right? It teaches us to help others. Listen, I'll read this whole thing again, verse 10. The fourth virtue is industry, because the Father gave man neither feathers, nor hair, nor wool. Let it be testimony. I know y'all know this, but not the hair on your head. Talking about like some animals are covered with hair and fur and feathers over their body. That's their clothing. Because the Father gave man neither feathers, nor hair, nor wool. Let it be testimony of his commandment that man shall clothe himself, to clothe oneself, and to provide oneself with food. These are the enforced industry upon all people. In addition to these, to labor for the helpless, to bathe them and feed them and house them and clothe them. These are the volunteer industries permitted by the Father, that ye may prove your soul's worthiness before them. Without industry, no people can be virtuous. One of the robbers asked him what industry was. To this, Capilli replied, to keep one's self in constant action to a profitable result. To keep oneself in constant action to a profitable result. To rise before the sun and bathe and perform the religious rites by the time the sun riseth, and to labor thereafter, not severely, but pleasantly until sunset. This is industry. The industrious man findeth little time for Satan's inspiration, right? And idle hands is the devil playground. Is that how you say it? Find something to do, right? The fifth virtue is of the same kind, which is labor. There shall be no rich amongst you, but all shall labor. As ye develop your corporal bodies into strength by reasonable labor, so doth the act of labor develop the spirit of man to profitable growth for its habitation in heaven. For I declare unto you a great truth, which is that the idle and the rich who labor not with the corporal body are born into heaven helpless as babes. The sixth virtue, which is greater than all the rest, is abnegation of one's self. Without abnegation, no man shall have peace of soul, either on earth or in heaven. Consider what thou doest, not that it shall profit thyself, but whether it will benefit others, even as if thou were not one of them. Without the sixth virtue, no family can dwell together in peace. Abnegation is pretty much thinking about others before you. Self-abnegation, self-abnegation is putting others before you put yourself, right? I read this again. The sixth virtue, which is greater than all the rest, is abnegation of one's self. Without abnegation, no man shall have peace of soul, either on earth or in heaven. Consider what thou doest, not that it shall profit thyself, but whether it will benefit others, even as if thou were not one of them. So even if they're not family, is this going to benefit them? Right? I don't care that they are not your blood. Will it benefit them? Will your actions benefit them involved? Will it tend to the betterment of all parties involved here, now, and in the far off future? Right? If not, we might want to reconsider this. Consider this particular thing you're doing, right? Without the sixth virtue, no family can dwell together in peace. And especially if you grew up in a house with a big family, self-abnegation is forced on you sometimes. I'm just saying, but you learn how. You learn how to, especially as you get older, you learn how to just kind of step back and let the little ones get all the attention from mom and dad or whoever, right? And then sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm gonna even help out. Yeah, I don't like it. You show them more attention than you do me, but I get it. Damn baby, they cry. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm gonna help. Hey, little baby, shut up. Taking a show, taking a spotlight. You start off like that, but I'm saying hopefully you don't end up like that. Hopefully you grow and realize that's pretty immature. Leave them alone. That's how babies act like babies. What you expect. People who grew up in big families understand that, right? Can you tell I'm the oldest of my crew? Be quiet if I pinch you. Look. Okay, listen. I'm gonna just read it again. It's so good. Verse 13. The sixth virtue, which is greater than all the rest, is abnegation of oneself. Without abnegation, no man shall have peace of soul, either on the earth or in heaven. Consider what thou doest, not that it shall profit thyself, but whether it will benefit others, even as if thou wert not one of them. Without the sixth virtue, no family can dwell together in peace. The seventh virtue is love. Consider when thou speakest whether thy words will promote love. If not, then speak not. If it don't promote love, keep your mouth shut. Just like mama said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, I know everybody repeated it. I can't hear you, but I know y'all repeated it. Then don't say nothing at all. Listen. The seventh virtue is love. Consider when thou speakest whether thy words will promote love. If not, then speak not. And thou shalt have no enemies all the days of thy life. But if thou can justly say a good thing of any man, be not silent. This is the secret to win many loves. Compliment people, right? If you know something to be good about somebody, don't keep your mouth shut. Speak it, right? They say this is the way to win many loves. The eighth virtue is discretion, especially in words. Consider well, then speak. If all men would do this, thou wouldst be surprised at the wisdom of thy neighbors. Discretion is a regulator. Without it, man is like a tangled thread. The ninth virtue is system and order. A weak man with system and order doeth more than a strong man without them. The 10th virtue is observance. With observance, a man accepteth from the ancients such things as have been proven to be good, such as rites and ceremonies. Without observance, a man beginneth back, even with the earliest of the ancients, and thus cast aside his profit in the world. The 11th virtue is discipline. The discipline for the individual and the family. He who hath not discipline is like a race horse without a rider. A time to rise, a time to eat, a time to pray, a time to dance, a time to labor. These are good in any man, but the family that practice but the family that practices them in unison with one another hath discipline. Sound like the words King Solomon, right? The 12th virtue is like unto it, and is obedience. All good and great men are obedient. He that boasteth his disobedience to discipline, hold on. The 12th virtue is like unto it, and is obedience. All good and great men are obedient. He that boasteth his disobedience to discipline is a fool and a madman. Greater and better is the weak man of obedience than a strong man of defiance. For the one promoteth the harmony of the family, but the other rupture it. It said ruptureth it. Consider these 12 virtues. They are sufficient laws unto the whole world. Man may multiply books and laws forever, but they will not make the family, nor colony, nor state happy without the adoption of these 12 virtues. Now, I can attest to this. Them 12 virtues, yeah, they definitely highlight every one of them. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Go back, start at 1, 6, 7, 5th. Hold on. Yes,
Mom,
son.
what day is it?
It's Saturday, son.
I can end up
Second, first. Nope, I'm gonna end it. Okay, where we at? Let me read this next one because it's so short. Chapter 12, page 417 at the bottom. Capelia said,
Saturday
the 13th, August the 13th. Chapter 13. Capelia said, being inspired of Jehovah, let thy life be thy preacher. The behavior of one good man, even in a sparse country, is of more avail than 1,000 preachers. The clamor of the tongue maketh speedy converts, but it changeth not the blood. They perform the rites and ceremonies, but their behavior is not of the 12 virtues. One community, family, of a score of men and women that dwell together in peace and love, doing good to one another, is the manifestation of more wisdom than all the books in the world. A man that hath learned sympathy is better learned than the philosopher that would kick a cat or dog. Great learning is not only in books. He who hath learned to harmonize with Jehovah hath great learning. That's good. I'm going to read that again. Because a lot of people, especially when it comes to the Bible, right? Stick to this and this only, right? I mean, it's good until you learn it inside and out, and then you need to start asking some questions so you can continue growing. Some people live and die there, and I think that's a sad state. Yes, babe.
Stop! Mom, I'm trying to clean this up.
Well, you can clean it up while he's getting the water. All right, Si, that's enough. That's enough. It's enough ice in there. No, you're doing it on purpose to pick with her. Stop.
Oh, man, look.
Well, you apparently you weren't in the kitchen when we was talking about self-abnegation. Gone. Leave her alone. He's trying to force his right to get water while she's standing over here trying to clean this up. Move, get out, let me get my water. Thinking about self-abnegation. We need to learn about this. We're going to learn about these 12 virtues. I'm going to leave my son alone. Listen. Let me go back to 3. One community, family of a score of men and women that dwell together in peace and love, doing good toward one another, is the manifestation of more wisdom than all the books in the world. A man that hath learned sympathy is better learned than the philosopher that will kick a cat or a dog. Great learning is not only in books. He who hath learned to harmonize with Jehovah hath great learning. The doctrine of the idolater is war, but my sons and daughters practice peace, resisting not any man with weapons of death, saith Jehovah. My sermons are not in wordy professions, but in the souls of my people who practice my commandments. All my Hebrew brethren and sisters. Yes.
You can give me some Robux tonight.
Girl, don't talk to me about Robux right now.
Mom, not Robux. I mean money, and I cleaned it up.
Y'all get out of this kitchen. We're not unfamiliar with keeping the commands of the Creator, right? Listen. Verse 5. The doctrine of the idolater is war, but my sons and daughters practice peace, resisting not any man with weapons of death, saith Jehovah. My sermons are not in wordy professions, but in the souls of my people who practice my commandments. Ye have witnessed that Sudga's followers said, behold, Sudga is our lamb of peace. Oh, I'm sorry. What are you doing? Do not. Just get out the kitchen. Go. Put that in there. Go. You two, go. Y'all purposely now doing things to make noise. Put that back in there. I'll be done in like 5 to 10 minutes. Move. Go. Thank you. Go. When they see me holding my fingers up, the parents know this, right? When you hold, they out the kitchen now. When you start doing, you count silently. If I get to 3 means I'm gonna come tap that butt. They just tried me. That's why I'm whispering. So now they just tried me, right? Listen, y'all kids do that to y'all? Yeah. They thought I wasn't gonna come, but I quietly pushed them out the kitchen without popping their butt, because when I hold up my fingers, when I do this, that mean I ain't playing. If I get to 3, I'm gonna pop your butt. Couldn't do it because we live. I just grabbed him a little tight on the arm. Get out this kitchen. You know better. Okay. Woosah. Listen, I had my 2 oldest trained down to a T. I stopped talking when Jeremiah tried me. The first time. At first, when you get silent, that's the accelerated parent counting. When you first training them, you count out loud with the finger so they can get used to the hand signals and the sounds merged together. 1, 2, 3. And at 3, whatever you said you was going to do, you have to do. Otherwise, you become a liar, right? You'll be a liar in the eyes of your children. I don't want my children to look at me like a liar. So if I say and I had to then doing that, I had to think about what I said. You can't say little stuff. I'm gonna come and punch you in your eye. You can't say off the wall stuff like that. Think about a proper discipline, right? Some people may use timeout, put you in the corner, go to your room, whatever. I'm a pop your butt, 2 licks, whatever. Figure that out. Don't just say off the wall stuff, because when you get to 3, you according to the rule of parenting, the unseen said rule of parenting, whatever you said you're gonna do, when you get to 3, you got to do that. Otherwise, this method don't work. Now, when I first learned about this method, Jeremiah, 19 years old now. Boy, this is my child. I gave y'all them stories. I was like, this boy was demon possessed when he was younger. Listen. So my girlfriend, she's like, Pam, look, when you do it, she said, you count out loud. She said, I promise you. She said, maybe the first, they shouldn't get after the first time, because you need to immediately do what you said. Now they're going to try you the first, possibly even the second time. So I did it with Jeremiah. Hard-headed little boy, right? He's 19 years old now. But listen, I said 1. He said, and I explained it to him before I had even did it. Well, nice little day. Listen, he started cutting. Listen, I'm only going to tell you from this point on, I'm only going to tell you to do things 1 time. I said, I'm going to give you a warning. If I start counting, I'm going to start at 1. I'm going to end at 3. 1 is a warning. You better stop it right now. Don't let me get to 2, because if I get to 2, you bordering on number 3. And when I get to 3, 3 is when I lay the smack down, right? Got in trouble. Try me a little bit later in the day. 1. You know what this little Regin did? He said 2. I said, boy. My husband turned his head. He's up. And then, I can't let my husband think I'm a liar either. So I had to go whip his butt. Yes, he started counting with me, Keith. Yeah, he never do that again. I mean, I ain't beat him too bad. I popped his butt a couple times, let you know I ain't playing with you. Listen, don't you ever count with me again. I count. I'm the captain now, right? And so from that point, and once you start getting good and they get real familiar with the method, you ain't got to open your mouth no more, right? And they go, mom ain't playing, right? Yeah, so that worked real well with them. Maybe I need to explain this system again to the younger mini Murphs. Apparently, y'all see me go all the way to 3, right? And I didn't even say nothing. I was quiet. I need to reintroduce. I got to sit everybody down. I got to reintroduce them to this method of discipline, right? Because I was quiet, and I got all the way to 3, and I had to walk from behind this computer, y'all. I need to consider my ways. Let me go back to this. Let me stop playing. Listen, okay. Where we at? Okay. Verse 5. The doctrine of the idolater is war, but my sons and daughters practice peace. I'm working on it. My sons and daughters practice peace, resisting not any man with weapons of death, saith Jehovah. My sermons are not in wordy professions, but in the souls of my people who practice my commandments. Ye have witnessed that Suga's followers said, behold, Suga is our Lamb of peace. And they were nations of warriors. They built monuments to glorify their greatest slayers of men. My people say little, profess little, as regardeth their virtues, but their practice is my voice. Capelia said, whatever should be the character of one man, so should be the family, community, so should be the state. Harmony in a man's soul is his greatest blessing, and so of the family and of the state. A stable man who's in harmony with himself, with the Creator, is and should be the state of all affairs, right? The affairs of this. Y'all get it. Listen. Capelia said, whatever should be the character of one man, so should be the family, community, so should be the state. Harmony in a man's soul is his greatest blessing, and so of the family and of the state. Whoso would sacrifice self-gratification for the good of the family is the greatest, best one in the family. Whoso triumphs in self desire or in inflicting on others his opinions or doctrines is the worst bad man in the family. I read that again. Listen. Whoso would sacrifice self gratification for good of the family is the greatest, best one in the family. Whoso triumphs in self desire or inflicting on others his opinions or doctrines is the worst, bad man in the family. My Father in heaven is thy Father also. All men and women are my brothers and sisters. To magnify one's soul as to realize this brotherhood is a great virtue. Hey, that's amazing because we all split up and chopped and screwed because we separate ourselves as a people. Granted, there should only be one type of separation: those who worship the Creator and everybody else who don't. They doing all kind of manner of things, right? But we're all brothers and sisters, right? We're still, I know this may trigger some people, right? Some people say we all God's children, but when they say it, somebody who say that is somebody who trying to get over on the system and want to do what they want to do. You just love me anyway, regardless of whatever I do, right? Like, I mean, y'all get it, right? But clearly we are all brothers and sisters, right? Because as we go through and we learn about it, it that makes a whole lot more sense. And if we all understood that and we operated that way, the world where we live at would be so much better. Because just think about it. If we thought about one another, even those that are not our blood, like we thought about our blood kin, think about how we go to war over our family members. Now we can fight amongst each other, but don't let nobody step to you, right? My cousin, my sister, brother, then we all ready to fight to defend our family. Just imagine if we all thought about one another all through the different races. We're brothers and sisters. And I'm going to fight for you too, right? Even though we're not blood. Imagine if we all thought that way about everybody.
Mommy.
Yes, babe.
Zay took the remote from me.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll literally be done in a couple minutes. Okay.
No,
He's all the way upstairs. He's upstairs. We got a whole TV right here.
No.
Bella, go upstairs. Verse 8. Listen. No, I'm sorry. Let me just do 9. Capelia said, whatever should be the character of one man, so should be the family, community, so should be the state. Harmony in a man's soul is his greatest blessing, and so of the family and of the state. Whoso would sacrifice self gratification for good of the family is the greatest, best one in the family. Whoso triumphs in self desire or in inflicting on others his opinions and doctrines is the worst bad man in the family. My Father in heaven is thy Father also. All men and women are my brothers and sisters. To magnify one's soul so as to realize this brotherhood is a great virtue. No matter what name he hath, there is nevertheless but one Creator, and all peoples are his children. Call thou him what name thou wilt. I will not quarrel with thee. I am a child of his love. By love I will prove it unto thee. No man can prove this by war, right? All things in love. Bella. Listen, you're doing the most. Listen, if I come up the stairs, I've been really nice this morning. Stop it. Leave her alone. Give back to her what you took. Go upstairs. I don't want to hear it. Just say everybody better go right now. We'll talk to your brethren. Whoever took it from her better give it back. Go. Okay. Verse 12. We almost done. We're on verse 12. It's 20 verses, then we're gonna end this, y'all. Okay. At death, the real life beginneth. Mold thyself well, whilst thy soul hath a good anchor, The body is the anchor, right? Remember the question that the newborn spirits who actually died in infancy or died in the wombs of their mother, why do they carry these houses around with their spirits all the time, talking about the body, right? Because they could clearly see we're spirits, but we're just grounded by the flesh, right? This is school, people. This is school. Earth is a womb, and we're in school. Listen. At death, the real life beginneth. Mold thyself well whilst thou hath a good anchor, the body. The highest, best life in this world findeth the highest, best life in heaven. 1 second. Hold on. Come on, upstairs right now. Wow. Listen. Okay. Hold on, let me catch my breath from running up the stairs and come back. We almost done. I just send everybody to their rooms. Okay. Now nobody should mess with nobody. Okay. Verse 12. Page 418 at the bottom. At death, the real life beginneth. Mold thyself well, whilst thy soul hath a good anchor, the body, the highest, best life in this world, findeth the highest, best life in heaven. To love thy Father who created thee, virtuous happiness is little more than this. The happiness of lust is to hate thy Creator. The man learning to swim had better go in with corks till he find the stroke. Like this, thy Creator gave thee a corporal body. Be not in haste to enter the unseen world. Make sure that thou hast learned the stroke of the resurrection, ere thou puttest aside the flesh and bones. That's good. I like that. Listen, before you give up your life jacket, you better have learn how to get this breaststroke down. Yes. First of all, if you weren't out the room, you wouldn't know that he was out the room. You go back in the room. Bella. I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up. You know what? I'm gonna threaten them with not going to I ain't gonna threaten them. Hold on 1 second. Listen. Here's what's about to happen. Nobody's going to the pool today. Yeah, I thought so. I better hear that. Now, in other words, if I hear a complaint from anybody, there is no pool today. Try me. Try Jesus. Please don't try me. I had to think about it. Rewards, discipline. Take away the pool. Okay. All right. Verse 13. And listen, this verse reminded me of that because my thing is, look, I make sure all my children can swim, right? It's a shame that a lot of our people, I'm going to stop saying our people, but minorities don't know how to swim. So that's one thing before we get into any other sports, even though they're in karate. But swimming is our main thing, right? So we just go swimming all the time. So, and they've learned to love it, right? And they're getting better and better. Listen. The man learning to swim had better go in with corks till he find the stroke. Like this, thy Creator gave thee a corporal body. Be not in haste to enter the unseen world. Make sure that thou hast learned the stroke of resurrection, erst thou puttest aside thy flesh and bones. Religion is the learning of music, harmony in a community in which the rabbah is the key tone. Music is of two kinds, sounds and assimilation. Dumb instruments may make sound music, but assimilation cometh to the real matter of putting one's behavior in harmony with the community. Oh, that's so beautiful. Listen, you know how much better? Now, one instrument, Keon, shalom, shalom. One instrument can sound really good, but put one instrument and two instruments and three instruments, people who have become in harmony with themselves first or learn how to play first themselves, all this practice, put those in harmony players together and make them a band. Boy, that is the best music you will ever hear, especially if you do that with the lives of people. And then if it's worship and secular music is awesome, it's fire. But then you do that with worship and you take it up to another level, you have harmony of soul. Listen, it flows through music. People who have harmony of soul and have a gift of singing, yo, it shooketh, it will shooketh. I know this is bad English. It will shooketh you down to the deepest parts of your shanana. Because when they sing or they play, it will literally make everything on you stand up and out. The hairs, goosebumps, right? They will literally, it's almost literally, they can almost merge heaven and earth together with their gift and a harmony that they have with the Creator. Yo, listen, this is so good. Look, verse 14, religion is the learning of music, harmony in a community in which the rabbah is the keynote. Music is of two kinds, sounds and assimilation. Dumb instruments may make sound music, but assimilation cometh to the real matter of putting one's behavior in harmony with the community. Good works. Who knoweth the meaning of these words? King Yokravana judged the good works of a man by the number of bad men he had slain. When almshouses promote laziness, they are not good works. Some people that think they just go sit and just read scripture to you all day, but not actually get up and do something with their life. You can make that a part of your life, but you had better be putting your hands to something, like seriously, because you won't be developing your flesh. You're feeding your spirit, but you got to also put the dog to work too, right? It goes hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. It's impossible, or you become truly imbalanced, right? And that saying that comes to mind, one of my older pastors said, he said, you are so spiritually minded that you are no earthly good, right? People like that, half the time you can't say nothing to them because they so spiritual. They up here, they always up in the clouds. Bro, you got a body, you live down here with us. You about to get your tail out my house if you don't help us pay some of these bills, because we got earthly bodies and we need to pay rent or whatever you paying, mortgage, whatever, right? You on the job, you can't be on your job preaching Jesus to people all day long and not working. You be the first one I find. Matter of fact, I look for Jesus lovers. Let's see if you practice your book. Let's see if you even read your book. You even know what I'm looking for you. I'm gonna hold you to a higher standard. Listen. Look, okay. Verse 15. Good works. Who knoweth the meaning of these words? King Yokravana judged the good works of a man by the number of bad men he had slain. When almshouses promote laziness, they are not good works. Preaching and praying and singing are not works, they are the blossoms, and with enticing fragrance. Yet Satan persuadeth man that these are good works. Nevertheless, all fruit is preceded by blossoms. The most learned man, the most pious man, and the greatest philosopher cannot tell what is the meaning of the words good works, but a mother with a child 1 day old can tell. A farmer that hath sowed and reaped one harvest and given half of it away to the less fortunate can tell also. Ooh, this is friggin' amazing. The wisdom in these words. I just gotta read it again. Listen. Verse 15. Good works. Who knoweth the meaning of these words? King Yokravana judged the good works of a man by the number of bad men he had slain. When almshouses promote laziness, they are not good works. Preaching and praying and singing are not good works. They are blossoms and with enticing fragrance. Yet Satan persuadeth man that these are good works. Nevertheless, all fruit is preceded by blossoms. The most learned man, the most pious man, and the greatest philosopher cannot tell what is the meaning of the words good works, but a mother with a child 1 day old can tell. A farmer that has sowed and reaped one harvest and given half of it away to the less fortunate can tell also. To bring forth out of the earth food or clothing, these are good works only so far as they exceed one's own requirements and are given to others. To live on the earnings of others, save in time of helplessness, is evil. Let me read that again. Listen. To bring forth out of the earth food or clothing, these are good works only so far as they exceed one's own requirements and are given to help others. To live on the earnings of others, save in time of helplessness, is evil, right? Only when you at your lowest, at your rock bottom, where you actually need help, should you only, excuse me, should you only live off the work of others, right? But when you got your full strength, capacity, capability, you got work in everything, it's evil to continue living off of people. Now you taking advantage. I'm about to kick you out. Look, to bring forth food out of the earth or clothing, these are good works only so far as they exceed one's own requirements and are given to others. To live on the earnings of others, save in time of helplessness, is evil. To preach and not produce substance for others, such a man is a vampire. He selleth sermons and opinions to the ignorant, making believe his words are Jehovah's concerns. We need everybody to commit to giving to the building fund $257.28 a week. The preacher shall dwell with the poor, taking hold with his own hands, teaching and helping. He who giveth words only and labor not is a servant of hell. Take that to some of your churches. I'm about to say something else. Let me go back, pull myself back in. I'm almost done. I might have just said something real offensive. Hold on. Hold on. It was real funny to me though, but I probably shouldn't say it. Okay. Verse 17. The preacher shall dwell with the poor, taking hold with his own hands, teaching and helping. He who giveth words only and not labor is a servant of hell. He findeth honeyed words and drawleth his voice. He live in ease and plenty. He stretcheth out a long face seriously. He is a hypocrite and a blasphemer against his creator. I'm gonna just take this whole verse and post it today. That's what I'll do. Listen, I'll read it again one more time. The preacher shall dwell with the poor, taking hold with his own hands, teaching and helping. He who giveth words only and not labor is a servant of hell. He findeth honeyed words and drawleth his voice. He liveth in ease and plenty. He stretcheth out a long face seriously. He is a hypocrite and a blasphemer against his creator. With love and rejoicing and with willing hearts, stand thou upright before Jehovah. For thy preaching shall bear evidence of joyful light, and thy presence give the weary and disconsolate assurance that thou art the Creator's Son. Come in earnest to glorify him by righteous works and a helping hand. Don't just talk about it, be about it, my G. Get out there and help. Don't just preach to us. Get down here and help us. Besides Capilia's Book of Maxims, the quarter of which is not here related, he also restored the Zarathustrian commandments and the songs of Vivanho. Nor since 2,000 years were the children of Jehovah so well standing before the world. And peace and plenty came upon the land of Vidyu, even greater than in the days of Brahma. Thus closeth the history of Capilia, who was led in all things by Jehovah through his angels, even to the words he uttered, though he oft knew it not. Such is it to walk with the Creator. Now, whilst this was going on in Vidyu, the Creator also labored through his angels in the land of Egypt with Moses, of whom hear ye. So tomorrow we're gonna learn about our brother Moses. We already know just a little bit about him, but it's gonna get good tomorrow. This for all my Hebrew brethren and sisters. We may not have grown up over there where they learned about Brahma, but we definitely learned about Moses over here, right? In Guatemala, Glory, the Americas, right? Tune in tomorrow for Moses. All right, y'all. So that's where we end it today. Oh, wait. I read that wrong. I sure did. We just finished reading chapter 12. I wrote it wrong. Roman numerals, forgive me. I'm still learning my Roman numerals. Okay. History of Moses of Egypt. So that will begin at tomorrow on page 419. All right, y'all. That's good. You can read ahead if you like. You don't have to. I'm just saying, this is whatever. All right, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so let me see. There's so many good things. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So many good things. Okay, so Father, help us to practice your voice and your voice only, that we may be in harmony with ourselves. And as we come into harmony with ourselves, may we also become in harmony with you, that we can play a beautiful song with our brothers and sisters. And may you look down on us and hear the music that your children are playing from their hearts. And may it be a sweet sound in your ear that forever pervades and overflows on the earth. Oh, yes. Yes. I was thinking about how we could learn, I could take today's adoration from what we learned today. All right, y'all. That's it. I just filled it down in my shot. All right, I love y'all. Okay, y'all. It is Saturday, August the 13th, 2022, day 184 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1202. We read the book of the Ark of Bond found in Big Blue, the Oahspe. Well, this version of Oahspe. They have paperback version, but the hardback is the Big Blue book, right? Hence the name Big Blue. We read pages 409 to 419. All right, y'all. So that we finished up learning about Capillion. Like I said, tomorrow we start on Moses. It's going to be super exciting. All right. So with that being said, beautiful people, I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early. Hold on. First of all, let me make sure I ain't miss nobody questions. Hold on. I've been doing that. I've been forgetting to do that lately. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay. Facebook gone. Hold on. Let me go back. Scroll all the way up real quick. Let me go back to the top. Make sure I miss nobody. Like I said, here to everybody. Make sure I miss nobody. Tikva, I missed sis. Hey girl, hey. Oahspe College University. I didn't see you come in, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't see you. The King James Version Bible published before the year 1611 had the word Iesu. You're absolutely right. You are right. I saw Key. Okay. Shayla, hey girl, hey. Mom, shalom, shalom. Hold on. Auntie, wholeness. Belinda Brown. Nay the Great, sis. Hold on, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm sorry. That's a dude. I'm sorry. Nay the Great. I'm sorry. Am I still reading Black Root Science? I read through it once, but I listened to it a couple times. But yes, I mean, I have it in about a month, but yeah, I didn't read through it. Okay, and listened to it a couple times. The reading that they have in YouTube, it's really, really clear. I like the reading up there. Some things is good. I can see some things. You know, we're working through. We're looking at. We testing all things. Hey, baby. What's that? Okay. There you go. It's open. You can get one. Let me see. I think that was everybody. I think, yeah, honor and humility. I said, hey. I think that's everybody. Okay. I don't think it.
Yeah.
What was I talking about that made you say booty meat? I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and see when that comment pop up. Hold on. That was hilarious.
Okay.
Yes, baby. Gloria. Hey, girl. Hey. There you go. Hold on. Y'all comments crack me up. All right. I think that was everybody. I was just going through the comments real quick. Tabitha, yes. Remember, y'all, Keon Cooper is Tabitha. It's Tabitha. Remember that. Keon Cooper is Tabitha. Okay, yeah, I think this. No, Jamia. Shalom, sis. Shalom. Oh. Lindsay, yeah. Shalom, brother. Okay, but I think that was it. Okay. Elijah, I saw you. I said hey. All right, y'all. So that's it for today. That's it. All right, y'all. With that being said, creator, gang, I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:30 a.m. Remember, weekends, if we're not observing the Sabbath, 7:30. During the week, Eastern Standard Time, 7:15. All right, y'all, that's it. I'm out of here. I see y'all back here tomorrow. Peace.